Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, I'm going to go over altcoins. As I promised, I would be going over some more altcoins instead of just Bitcoin as we do head into a potential altcoin season. And with things seeming to, at least on the short run, appear to be turning around just a little bit for altcoins where we are getting pumps in their favor, I did think it would be good to just start with our first altcoin here, Solana. And of course, in the group, I do go over tons of altcoins with plenty of setups. We've had long setups and bull setups all across the last couple weeks and even in the last month in preparation for this pump. But if you want to just have a quick snapshot of what's going on with Solana, here we can see that we did bottom with this bullish divergence down here on the daily, where we did just take off. Basically coming off of a bullish bat formation, and this bullish bat formation does have a realistic target of 211, maybe even as far as $243 just on that formation, which does correspond with the falling wedge that we also have going on here. So we have two major patterns that do point here in the case of the falling wedge to 214 to 241. And those are very highly correlated numbers there. So personally, I think that's a good sign that these are very realistic targets. And, if you want to take some pretty chunky profit off of the realistic and generalized targets here, that'd probably be a smart move. And then maybe leave your moon bag to squarely hit these extreme targets, just in case the market does turn around and turn against us in the short term. However, currently right now, we are seeming to put in our first little local top E area here on this pump, coming off of a rising wedge, which does suggest a potential breakdown here. So this falling wedge was bullish, but this rising wedge does indicate a potential short-term bearish outlook. And we also have a bearish bat formation. So we've got two bats here. And interestingly, neither of them are fully, directional right now. In other words, here's the termination of the bat harmonic, and we're kind of just chopping sideways underneath that bullish bat. And then here's this bearish bat formation, and we're just currently just chopping sideways right above it. So neither of these patterns have really taken direction yet in terms of the harmonics. However, that bearish harmonic would point down to a retrace of approximately 124, maybe as far as 112, where we could get our first higher low in this pattern breakout of the falling wedge. Now that falling wedge did have a breakout, so that does suggest that the direction is going to continue upward overall, and that this is probably going to be a lower high, but just understand that there are such things as a type 2 returns even on these falling wedges, which means that we could even come all the way down to my bumper zone of $86. You wouldn't believe it, but of course, nothing goes up in a straight line and nothing goes down in a straight line in trading. And so those are in fact possible targets. But I think that with these double patterns, both that rising wedge and that bearish harmonic pointing in the direction of this 120s area, that probably we're going to find some support there, as we also have been building support off of that bullish divergence that I was talking about earlier. And of course, if that does put in a higher low, well, we now have a higher high off of this high. And we'll put in our first higher low off of this low, and that would suggest trend continuation, probably to at least our realistic and generalized pattern targets up here around that $200 zone. Now, there will be, of course, pullbacks along the way, maybe in the 190s, maybe again at the 160 area, but we can play those by ear when we get there. Overall, you can see that we did put in a hidden bearish divergence here, which really hasn't been validated unless we lose this rising wedge. So anything above 150, certainly anything above 155, I'm not going to be bearish on. But if we do lose that 149 area, if we do lose this wedge underneath 145, probably we're coming back at least to 136. And if we do lose that 136, then bears, at least on the short time frames, will be in control and could take us down to those lower 120s. All right, guys, that's going to be your alpha for the day. Stay safe. Happy trading.